Week 5, just like that, Kendo. Man, but before we get into it, man, I mean, we already see the Panthers are already starting to they pulled the trigger. Matt Rule is out as coach, and let's hear a little bit of that audio, right? Because before Matt Rule was let go, they asked him a question in his post game presser, and let's take a listen to that now.
I know you have mentioned about this being a separate year, but I think this is now 11 losses in 12 games. Have you got any assurances from David Tepper about your future?
Yeah, I hope you guys can understand. I'm here to talk about the game. You know, I've always been very forthright with you guys. So, you know, yeah, I have nothing to say about that now. Just here to talk about the game today. I would never want to make this about me. You know,
And I mean, he was. It looked like the writing was already on the wall for him, right? And let's take a listen to David Tepper. I think somebody answered him or asked him I think it was a relatively easy question, and you can hear it in his voice that obviously this has been looming for quite some time. And they asked him, was it an overnight thing? So let's take it to that audio real quick.
Do this. Did you know last night? I just wonder what your own decision process was here.
Scott, I read your column, okay? You know better, okay? Every day, this is an everyday thinking about things, how we can be better, what should we do, when is the right time, when's not the right time. And I said,
so right there, David Tepper. I mean,
a testy exchange.
Hey, because it was a good question. Was this a spur of the moment type deal? And he says, "Hey, I read your column. Obviously, the reports that we've been hearing since for the last couple of weeks, they're out. They all have been true.
The writing was definitely on the wall with this situation.
So before we get into this week 5 recap, right? Let's talk about this. The Carolina Panthers, they named Steve Wilkes, right? Who you said is a Carolina native. He's had previous head coaching experience. Can they still turn this thing around there with the Carolina Panthers?
I think they can. They got the talent on that team. I don't think it's a talent issue with the Panthers. I think it's more of an X and O's issue with the Carolina Panthers. The offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo, we know him. He's with the Giants. He was up on Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for years. On the quarter, they got to get the quarterback position situated. Baker Mayfield, he's been a mess this year. And I know it's a new team, new weapons, new system and all that, but he's been kind of a mess this year, the offensive line. They drafted the guy that NC State, Aquanya, or whatever. Yeah, they drafted him or whatnot, and it just hasn't worked out. I don't think he's played some of his best ball. McCaffrey, he's been a little bit banged up, but he has played every game this year. He's looked okay or whatnot. DJ Moore, what's happening to DJ Moore? You know, so it's like it seemed like it's more of an X and O thing. They got the talent, and Wilt's going to bring them up. It's going to kind of give them a spark from the coaching perspective. He's going to get them a spark. It may be like a fountain of like an injection of just some excitement around with the Panthers. Because we seen Matt Rule, he was in the hot seat just last year, and we felt like going into this year, he's off. He's on. We had a podcast at the beginning of the year with the coaches on the hot seat, and he was one of them. So I think the writing was definitely on the wall for the Carolina Panthers. I think Steve Wilkes can get it turned around, and look at the division they're in. Nobody's really running away. Tampa's not Tampa of the past couple of years. The Falcons, they lost. They 2-2 now, 2-3. The Saints, they just got to win or whatnot. So nobody's really running away with the division right now. So I think they still got some time to get away. It's still kind of young into the season, but he's gonna have his handful to turn around his team. But I definitely think. I know there's rumors out there they might do just tear it up and start trading some players. I don't think they should do that because that's a talented young roster. And the future is bright in Carolina. If they can get their quarterback and offensive quarterback position situated, the future is bright. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Is I'll be at the Carolina Panthers Tampa Bay Buccaneers game next Sunday. So I'm gonna have front row seat for that. And I want to see get the vibe of the team and just in the stadium and see how things go there. But they definitely got talent. They're not as far away as some other teams, but they definitely got it. I don't think it's a talent issue.
Yeah, and I think that for the most part, I think Christian McCaffrey was, he's been one of the biggest pieces of that entire offense, and when he's going, the entire offense is going. And the unfortunate thing is that Christian McCaffrey the last 2 seasons has been missing extensive amount of time, and the year before that he was completely out for the season. So, it looked like a fun team. I think at one point I was on the train that the Panthers might even be a front runner for the actual NFC South, but yeah, it turned into a mess, and that fire did not want to go out. And like you said, it's going to take some time. I think PJ Walker, I think, is going to be the quarterback. I think that is going to be starting, and I think there were some rumblings about Sam Darnold possibly making a return. So we'll
All
see.
three. How Donald's hurt, Corral's out for the year. Donald's nowhere near returning. Now Baker Mayfield. They probably gonna sign a quarterback this week. We'll wait. They probably gonna sign. They gotta sign a quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's get into week 5, right? There's one undefeated team, right? The Philadelphia Eagles. But man, week 5, I think the headline for week 5 was roughing the passer play calls. Let's take some clips real quick, right? Because I think there's one. The one that started the whole ripple effect was the one with Tom Brady. But let's take a listen to Tom Brady on what he said with when they asked him the question, right? What did Tom Brady have to say? Let's see.
Lobbying or asking for some late hits there.
I don't throw the flags.
Oh, I do not throw the flags. Now the one that everybody saw was just pretty last night, which was the one with Derek Carr. Because I mean, Chris Jones did an amazing job because that was a strip sack, right? But let's listen to Derek Carr. What did he have to say?
But when it comes to refs, they do their best. They're doing their best, and the crowd got louder. They just booed louder. They're always.
So he tried to give him praise, but look, this was what Chris Jones had to say, and I think he has a legitimate question here. So let me know what you think. What Chris Jones had to say, Kendall.
For the passers, they don't put such an emphasis on that we got to be able to view it in the booth now. You know what I mean? I think that's the next step as an NFL as a whole. If we're going to continue to call roughing the passers at that high of a velocity, then we got to be able to view it in the booth to make sure, because sometimes the looks can be deceiving. You know what I mean? From the ref point of view, it probably looked like that initially. But, and when you look at the replay, it's a whole different thing. So I think now to evolve roughing the passer and protecting the quarterback is essentially what we're doing in this league. We got to be able to look at roughing the passers in the booth.
Wow. I think he's onto something here, Kendall. Now, let me ask you, what do you think about his proposal to the NFL? I mean, finally somebody speaks up, and it was not out of emotion, but it was actually very logical what he had to say.
I think I agree with it. I thought about it actually before I heard that, and it's something that's been they went. I know they did was it the pass interference a couple of years ago or something like that. They went back and they changed something like that. But I think pass interference, offense or defense pass interference, and these roughing the passer call, that should definitely be something that they should take to the booth and review, because it's changing the outcome of the game. What if we're in the NFC champion? What if we're in the championship game and the game comes down to literally this penalty right here? You know what I mean? So I think it definitely needs to be done, needs to be changed with that. And maybe it's something that when they have the annual league meetings at the end of the year, it's something they'll look into then. But I think that's a great idea, because now if I'm a defender, what am I supposed to do? I mean, we see Chris Jones, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to hold myself up. I'm trying to get the ball. Like in Chris Jones' case last night, he don't got 3 hands. He's not an octopus. He don't have 8 legs or nothing like that. He can't. It's not so much he can do. So I feel that's the league. They definitely have to look at it. They have to look at that. It's not right. And then I seen a tweet or something today. Maybe we just start bear hugging the quarterback. Whenever we get just squeeze him like Max Crosby did Mahomes last night. Just start doing that. It's taking the fun out of football, man.
Yeah. I will say this. I think that technology is advanced way beyond what it was in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Even in 2010, it's advanced so much. So, I think that if anything, they should equip these refs with an earpiece. And, they already have the staff watching the actual games, right? They have he's not Dean Blandino, he's no longer the head of officiating, but the head of officiating, right, which watches all the games in real time. I mean, they need to be able to buzz down and say, hey, you know what? Pick up that flag. That's not, we already saw it. We need to pick up that flag and let them, give them in that case, give them the fumble recovery, right? Because it was a strip sack in this case.
Right.
So I think it's something that they definitely need to look into. But nothing gets more infamous than Troy Aikman saying, what was Troy Aikman's response? Take off the dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the NFL is going to talk to Troy Aikman about that. But let's get enough said about the roughing the passer. Let's get right into football, man. What were some of your bigger takeaways of Week 5, right? Because I think if anything, if I could say anything about Week 5, is this is the part of the year and part of the season where you start seeing the teams start to separate themselves, right? Because we had a lot of we had a lot of 2-2 teams, a lot of 3-1 teams. So what were your bigger takeaways from this week?
I said on our pre-show the other morning, I don't mean to be like a homer or just to be like that guy, but what did I say? The New York Football Jets.
You
The
did?
Jets are playing some good ball. I
They
called
are.
it. I said the Jets, watch out for the Jets. If they can get a win today, I think it's the first time been over 500 in some time. And they are playing some good ball, man. Zach Wilson, they're playing some good ball. I know the Dolphins had an injury. I know Tua or Bridge. I understand that. If you put your pads and your helmet on, you go out and your cleat, everybody get paid to do their job, or everybody they go out there to play. It's a physical game. We know that. Jets got some injuries too. But and I heard something like, Tyreek Hill, he had the decision between the Jets and the Dolphins. And Quinnen Williams, fellow Alabama D tackle, first round pick from the Jets, he said it kind of motivated them that Tyreek Hill picked the Dolphins over the Jets. And that he kind of said Jets who or something like that in his press conference when he got with the Dolphins. So he knew he was going to the Dolphins the whole time. And that team, they played with a chip on their shoulder when Quinnen Williams got that fumble recovery. He stiff-armed Tyreek Hill. And that was great. Like I watched some of that game. You can tell they was playing like with a little chip. The Jets are a good team. Like this, not your Jets in the old days. Jets, they're good. They're a really good team, and they're young. Garrett Wilson's having a good year. Corey Davis, my guy, he's having a good year. Elijah Wood. They got some Breece Hall, the running back. They got some talent there with the Jets. And that defense, led by the coach and whatnot. They're playing some good ball in New York. And that division, the Bills are 4-1. Jets right there behind them. Dolphins are kind of falling back down via injuries, but Jets playing some good ball.
Yeah, and you did call it. I was with you on that one. I kind of liked the boldness in that one. Let's talk about the Giants and Packers, man. Wow, the Giants. You have been. I mean, from the get go when the season started, you said, hey, you like the moves the Giants made. You like the coaching staff that they brought in, and damn, they shook the world, right? I mean. Not the world, but they definitely, well, yeah, the world, right? Because they were playing in London. They walked away with a win, 27-22. I think the biggest takeaway from that is how they did not leave much time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers to make, to do his Aaron Rodgers type makeup. So I mean,
the Packers, how do you not run that ball? You from the 2-yard line, you throw it twice or 2-3 times. You throw the ball 2 past the flag. I mean, that was a mess right there. Run the ball. Just run the ball. You got AJ Dillon, you got Aaron Jones back there. Just run the ball. The previous week just had over 150 something yards against the Patriots. Like, they should have just ran the ball. But the Giants play good. Give the Giants credit. Not telling anything. Like, the Giants play some good ball. That defense play good. They shut the Packers out in the second half. Packers couldn't do anything. Saquon Barkley, boy, has he revived like a rebirth. He's playing good. Daniel Jones not turning the ball over like he once was. And the Giants playing some good ball, man. The Giants, they 4-1. Like in the NFC East, we'll talk about that probably in a little bit, but that division is now one of the more interesting ones. But
hey,
the Giants look good, man.
Me and you were saying that at the beginning of this season. I said, hey, I wasn't expecting it this year. I said in the next season or 2, maybe 3 seasons, the NFC East is going to be that powerhouse that they once were, because back then it used to be the NFC East. So I mean, aside from the Washington Wizards or whatever you want to call them, or Commanders, shout out Vach Lombardi. But Yeah, man. I think this division looks stacked, right? But I think Packers need to get on the phone. They need to get OBJ there. It's obvious. It's obvious. You can see Aaron Rodgers.
I like what they're getting from Romeo Dobbs, my guy. We talked about that before the season. I tell you about Romeo Dobbs. He's playing some good ball, but they need some more.
They do. They need to get as much help as possible. Let's talk about the Lions and Patriots. I mean, for the longest time, people want to give Coach Belichick a hard time that he's losing his touch. As far as finding the right players to get the job done. But hey, man, you guys actually went in there and allowed the Lions to 0 points, which the Lions had the number 1 offense in the league, and it was a shutout. What were your takeaways from that game?
Me and Jerry, we talk about every Tuesday after the games. We talk about every day, but we talk. And I said, hey, I don't care what nobody say. Oh, it's the Lions, and they had a few injuries. It's the National Football League. They were the number 1 ranked team on scoring. They were number one in scoring, and we pitched a shutout. They didn't score 3 points, not 10, not 7, a shutout. I don't care who. That's impressive. 29 is it. That's an impressive shutout. I love the way my defense, my New England Patriots, how they flying around. The speed, like the speed. I mean, Raekwon McMillan, Mac Wilson, the Cal Duggar with the fumble return. Matthew Judon, he's picking up where he left off last year. He kind of flated down the stretch last year, but he's playing some good ball. I think he got like 6 sacks already. He's like second in the league in sack. Detroit Wise playing, and then Bailey Zappi. I mean, he's zapping that thing, guy. Hey, I don't want to start no quarterback controversy, but hey, he's zapping it out there now. But hey, Bailey Zappi is looking real good. The running game, Monjay Stevenson. I mean, like me and Jerry talked earlier about the Patriots draft class the past couple of years. We got some guys that are balling. Jack Jones, another interception, second straight week. Marcus Jones, like Taquan Thornton came back. This team is, I mean, they playing some good ball, and they got a I won't say a weak schedule. I won't call it a week in NFL, but they got a respectable schedule coming down the street. We go to Cleveland this Sunday. Then we got Chicago, the Jets, a couple games, and then we got the Colts. But the Patriots are playing some good ball right now. And I like where if we can keep it like it's going right now, Patriots, they're gonna be in position to end the year. They're gonna be a tough out.
For sure.
But the Detroit on the Lions front, Jared Goff, like he struggled against the Patriots, against Bill Belichick and the Patriots in the Super Bowl a few years back. But they got to get it going. And yes, they did have some injuries or whatnot, but it wasn't good. It didn't look good for Detroit.
Chargers and Browns, man. I saw the tweets. Keenan Allen was, I think it was WTF, right? What the right is going on? And so when it comes down to it, the Chargers. The storyline from the Chargers so far is the head coach. People are not liking how he's using the analytics to actually call in-game decisions. What was your takeaway from that game?
If the Browns made that field goal, how much heat do you think he's getting right now?
I think he's already under a lot of heat. I think if anything, that person that's in his ear giving him the analytics is probably he's walking on thin ice right now because, like you said, they almost handed him that win. So it's just getting up to a field goal. So that's crazy. But I mean, it's great. It's very unique because you have a team full of talent, playmakers, right? And the Chargers are literally their worst. They're their own worst enemies, I think, at this point. Mm-hmm. The Browns, obviously, we know they have the ground game going. They're waiting
to big game for Austin Eckler too, getting over 100 yards against that Browns defense. I mean, I know the Browns are last in the league against the rush against DVOA, but Austin Eckler played some good ball there. He ran the ball tough and hard. That was a good game for Eckler.
Yeah,
some people out there.
That was actually back-to-back weeks for him. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and skip along the Texans, even though they got their first win against the Jags. Obviously, we talked about it. I think that we need to see some consistency from Trevor Lawrence. Trevor, man, come on! You're the next coming. You're the next. You've been anointed. You need to be consistent. We already talked about the Falcons and Bucks. Obviously, the Bucks, they took away. They
Steelers with a bad. I mean, Kenny Pickett's first start, not a good look.
Well, that's exactly the one I want to get to. Right Now, I mean, you're talking about Kenny Pickett getting thrown right into the pit, right there, getting thrown right into the Lions. And dang, even though I think his set lines were 300 yards passing. I think he had an interception along the way. But man, I think this is the first time that Mike Tomlin is feeling the adversity. I mean, Mike Tomlin has been one of the more winning coaches. Man, at this rate, man, it doesn't look like they'll be. I mean, it looks like they'll probably walk away maybe with four wins. You think maybe?
Oof. It's tough to say, man.
Because we're talking about one of the more winningest coaches in the NFL, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Right now at this
man,
projection,
they look right now, they might be in line for a top 5 pick.
I think if TJ Watt could get back to them, I think that defense can get back on track. But I will tell you this: we did see Minkah Fitzpatrick get smoked, which is not an unusual thing. Gabe Davis had a game. I mean, he balled out. Like you said, for fantasy owners who own him, wow, what a game to be alive for him. So our best bet is, I know you and I are big on, we're very high on Kenny Pickett. So hopefully he's able to learn from that and move along.
Another team, they got talent. It's not a talent issue. They got plenty of talent. It's just, I think it's health, the offensive line, and the play calling.
Yes, I think it comes down to the play calling, because I think like we talked about earlier last week, Raiders, Steelers, they all have great. They all get to the red zone, but they're not able to punch it in for that touchdown. So yes, I think the play calling that needs to be addressed and immediately improved on. Dolphins and Jets, like you said, we already talked about them. Bears, Vikings. Vikings won that one, and
Close game. It was a close game.
It was a close game. I remember I was trying to call that one as an upset. That one and the Falcons and Bucks, and that one was a close game too. You got the Titans and Commanders. Titans look like they're ahead of the in that division right now.
They done won 3 straight?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then of course we talked about it. 49ers defense looks red hot right now. And Panthers didn't stand a chance. Hey, but a very surprising team, the Seahawks, man. They went in there to the Saints, and man, Geno looks like he could give the Seahawks another maybe 2 seasons of high productivity. The only thing is, man, we're seeing some good things on defense. Like, I think they found a true playmaker on defense with Tariq Woolen out of UTSA. He's a rookie, man. 6'4", runs the 40 in 4.26. Something that we have never seen, a specimen. And I mean, he had an interception in this game too. But still, I think ultimately it came down to the defense in this game.
Yeah, defense is a mess. They gave about like 30 to 40 to Detroit. Then they just gave up a lot against the Saints. Taysom Hill had a day.
Yeah, he did have a day, and the way they're using them, hats off to them, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Eagles and Cardinals, man. 5-0, man. The Eagles are 5-0 against the Cardinals, man. What were your takeaways from this game?
Watch some of that game. Eagles got out to a hot start, kind of slowed down towards the end. Cardinals caught up with it. I don't know what's going on with Arizona this year. I know they missing D Hop. I think they get them back. Is it this week or probably next week? They probably get D Hop back.
Yeah,
but I think their defense. They lost a lot on defense this offseason, but the defense needs to play better. The Eagles, I mean, they got all the talent in the world. They're undefeated for a reason. And I mean, they got a big game coming out Sunday night, and we'll talk about that later on in the week. But I think my thing from that game is Jalen Hurts. I mean, he can throw it. He can score throwing through the air, or he can run it in. And their running game has improved this year. Miles Sanders having a good year. Dallas Goedert, he's a really good underrated tight end. Him and Mike Gesicki from the Dolphins, I don't think they get enough credit. Those are some pretty good tight ends. I don't think it's Travis Kelce yet, but I think him and Gesicki, they don't get a lot of knowledge, man. I'm a big fan of Dallas Goedert and Mike Gesicki. But the Eagles, they got some talent. I like how they built that team around Jalen Hurts. It's playing off. It's paying off. A.J. Brown's having a good year. Devontae Smith, and their defense is Darius Slay. I just can't wait for this game this weekend though. But people want to say the Eagles really haven't played a lot of people. People want to say the Eagles haven't played nobody, but you only can play who's on your schedule.
Let's talk about that, because the Cowboys came away with a win, And I would have to say this is a big win for the Dallas Cowboys. They went to a Rams game. Now I did mention this during the pregame. I said, "Hey, this is going to be kind of a home game for the Cowboys because we've already heard from our good friend Steve Weitz, right, that LA for whatever reason it feels like home for the Dallas Cowboys. The majority of the fans are Cowboy fans, and they're you see nothing but Cowboy gear. So I believe I saw the tweets from Dave Hellman, right, which is a former Cowboys. He actually was the actual beat writer for the Cowboys. Now he's a Fox Sports analyst. He was there on site. He said, "Wow, it was crazy." I think I even heard players mention that you look in the stands, almost 50% of the crowd was wearing Cowboys uniforms and cheering when they did something. So let's talk about that. Cowboys versus Rams. I mean, I called it right before we went off there. What do we want to mention? I said, "Hey, man, Cowboys are winning." Whatever you want to ask me, Kendall, or whatever you want to add, let's do it, and I'll tell you what I see.
Well, what I seen from the game is that Cowboys defense fast. Like I told you, they fast. They have depth at D-line and linebacker. Then they got Clark and Jabril Cox coming back. They got depth at D-line, linebacker, and that secondary is playing real good. Trayvon Diggs, he didn't have his best game, but he's Trayvon Diggs. He's still playing some good ball. You're gonna give up something. Cooper Kupp, pretty good wide receiver, number one. But that defense looked real good. Offensive line was okay. I know they got after Cooper Rush a little bit. The running game still needs some help with Zeke or whatnot. Tony Pollard, without that run from Tony, I think the Rams had a chance to win that game. Cooper Rush didn't turn fourth straight game, no turnovers. He did not turn the ball over. CeeDee Lamb had a good game. Gallup with a couple nice clutch catches down the way. But I think the Cowboys look real good, man. It's tough to sit Cooper Rush right now. But I do think if he wins this game Sunday, if they win off of him, like not just how they win, because they didn't need him this game, but if he made some few tough throws down the stretch this game Sunday against the Eagles on Sunday night football, it's gonna be tough to sit him, man. I do not want to be the man in charge making that decision. It's gonna be tough. How do you do it? He's not the reason why you're winning, but he's not giving the game away either.
Well, I will say this. Cooper is doing his job, and that is managing. He's managing the managing the offense, right? He's doing his job. I think, like you said, I think what's the biggest thing about this team is the defense. The defense is getting after it, and the defense is always fresh. I think the only one that's playing the largest amount of snaps is Micah Parsons. When you actually look at the stats, I believe they say the actual nose tackle, I forgot his name for the Rams, outplayed Aaron Donald by 11 snaps, which is telling, right? Because the nose tackle needs a little bit more rest than Aaron Donald. But, hey, Tyler Smith, who's been playing really good at left tackle, he learned real fast what it is to go against Aaron Donald. But hey, everybody, when anybody that faces
Aaron Donald,
faces off against Aaron Donald, they're going to get an Aaron Donald's treatment. It's just like the Micah Parsons treatment. So, right. When you look at this defense, they're good on the first level. Which when I say the first level, I'm saying about the starting rotation. But then when they substitute, they just have a great rotation as far as I don't want to call them bench players because they can literally start on any team. You got Dante Fowler.
They go like 7 deep, 7-8 deep on that D line.
And then Sam Williams. When Sam Williams comes in, I mean, he looks like a replica. I mean, facially, he looks like a replica of Micah Parsons. So, as a Cowboy fan myself, as Cowboy fans, there's a lot to be excited right now. I think when it's time, I think Cooper Rush has given us that luxury of knowing that, hey, right now it's okay. Let that get completely healed. We don't need him for the Eagles. I think that this is a real collision that we're seeing up ahead. Now, I don't know if you want to go ahead and get ahead of yourself and maybe give which way you're kind of leaning towards, but I will tell you this. from what I've seen and from the reports I read, Eagles are without their left tackle Maiva and Brandon Books, their left guard. And anytime you're missing offensive line, now keep in mind, Cowboys do not have a perfect offensive line. Rams offensive line, I think there's only maybe 2 teams in the entire NFL, which is the Browns, I think, and I forget the other team. They have a complete offensive line. No other team has a complete offensive line. But when you got this type of defense heading in the Eagles' direction, and the ability for Micah to be able to be an edge rusher or a linebacker gives you so much flexibility. And I'll tell you this, Dan Quinn has done a hell of a job as far as getting his people in the right places. And just to go back, you can hear Dan Quinn, and I can pull it up if you want, but I don't see anybody requesting. But he'll even tell you Trayvon Diggs, that even though it could be given to him, that actually was a blown assignment by Malik Hooker. Even Malik Hooker took he took ownership of that, saying like
the deep ball to Tutu Atwell, right?
No. The one with Coop with
the drag route. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the one with Cooper Kupp. He should have helped. He should have been there to help Trayvon Diggs with that one. I'm not trying to make excuses for my players. There's no need to. Cooper Kupp is good. He is always looking to. He's very good setting himself up with screens and picking. I mean, he even uses the referees for pick blocks, man. So the guy's good. He's really good. I think overall, that come this Sunday, 7:30. It's a Sunday night game. 7:25 ish Central Time.
Eastern.
8:30 Eastern. We are about to see one of the more entertaining games, I think, in the NFL. And we're looking for, like I said, it's an intra-division, and I'm pretty sure all the Cowboy haters are going to be cheering on the Eagles, and we're going to see, and we're going to have a crown pretty soon of who's going to be holding up that crown in the NFC East. And from there, it's only a matter of time before Dak is ready to rock and roll. I will say this, the way we're seeing the landscape, I think that Cooper has given us that luxury to be able to win these games. Number one, he's doing his job. Number two, I believe that they're going to give the ball back to Dak, because if you look back last year, I believe we had the best offense in the entire NFL last year. I think we were averaging almost 37 points a game at one point. And so with Cooper, we see, I mean, I think he only passed for, 152 yards. So if you want to be able to get into the playoffs and deep,
I think it was just 100 yards, I believe.
I think it was 126 to be exact. But what I was trying to get to is, let's just say the Cowboys find a way to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, all signs look like the Buffalo Bills are there. And the Buffalo Bills right now have the second-ranked defense. Cowboys have the third-ranked defense. 49ers have the first-ranked defense. So if you are going against the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, wouldn't you want to have the quarterback that could get you the points, that knows how to air the ball out, use his weapons? And that's why I say Dak, I think, is the best option for the Dallas Cowboys for the longevity of it, right? I'm pretty sure what we need to see out of Dak is he needs to have the same success that Cooper Rush is having, right? So hopefully they continue the play calling, and then they allow to, let Dak grip it and rip it. So, that in a nutshell, that was week 5. The Bengals and Ravens. Ravens did come away with that win. Did you want to add anything?
Came down. Yeah, on week 5, game came down to the wire with the Bengals and Ravens. Lamar Jackson had the ball in his hand the last possession, and then one of the greatest kickers probably of all time. Well, in Ravens history, I know, but he's going to be all of them kicker and whatnot. But Justin Tucker. So I mean, that was a good game for the Ravens and whatnot. And then I can't believe we talked this whole show. We didn't even talk about this other huge game that's on Sunday that's going to lead us into the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Bills and the Chiefs. So that's going to be a doozy. That's going to be a big one right there. expect to see a lot of passing yards, shootout again and whatnot. And probably gonna come down to whoever has the ball last. So we got a big week of football coming up.
Yeah, we do. And that game is going to be a 3:25 p.m. Central Time. That's 4:30
Eastern.
4:25 Eastern Time.
Eastern.
This Thursday, Commanders Bears. Who do you got?
Who's home? I think Chicago home.
Yeah, Chicago's home. All I've been hearing is Carson Wentz is a mess, man. That's all I've been hearing all week.
I think Washington is. I do. Carson Wentz, he's been a mess. He's a mess and whatnot. And I watched that game. Some of that game against the Titans, he threw that pick. It's fitting for Carson. He does stuff like that. I mean, that's a sum up Carson Wentz's career and whatnot. Washington's bad, but they're not as bad as the Bears. And I know the Bears got 2 wins. They were 2-3. But I think Washington just a better. I think Washington win this one. I'm gonna go with the Washington Commanders in this one.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think I think their defense is just a slight right now. Their defense is playing just a little bit better than the Commanders. So I think they're gonna force Carson Wentz to do Carson Wentz things. But that does it for us. I want to thank you all for those who tuned in and those that are listening in. Make sure you visit the website, eastwestfootball.com. You know, we got great articles on there. We got draft content right now. And coming soon, we're gonna be providing some draft content. We're gonna be bringing some actual NFL 2023 NFL mock drafts. Can you believe it? We're already getting ready for the offseason. But some of these teams already need to, man. We need to give you some kind of hope. But until then, we want to say thank you, and we hope to see you soon. Make sure you click that like, you subscribe to our channel, click the like and share it, please.